All right, and our last section that we're going to do here today um, is all about the government as a non-profit. And under the capitalist style of business of economics, right? The government doesn't own businesses. We're not um, a socialist country, or certainly not a communist country where the government owns businesses and then takes the profits and gives it back to the people in different types of programs, social programs that help them. That's not us, right? We let businesses own themselves, and then government obviously gets less tax money, but hope maybe it benefits us in the long run because it allows businesses to succeed and so forth. Um, but there are a few companies we own, and one is the Postal Service. I don't know if you guys remember last year before the election, there was a bunch of hoopla drama about the mail service and it being slowed down and the blue drop boxes being taken off the streets and takes longer for stuff mail to move around or whatever. There's the reason that was such drama is because the government controls the mail. It's in the Constitution. It's one of the few things that's in the Constitution that the government can control. And yeah, they get to set the laws. And last year, the guy in charge wanted, there's been kind of a negative view on the mail service for some for a long time now. For almost 20 years, there was this law put in place that said, the Postal Service has to fund its pensions for the next 50 years, right? Which unheard of. No one does that. And because of that, they started losing money. And then you attack this part of the government that's losing money. And but let me just say, 45 cents, you can send something 3,000 miles in this country, right? What else can you buy for 45 cents? You can't even buy a piece of gum or something at 7-Eleven. I mean, it's amazing deal. Where FedEx or UPS are much more. I mean, not that much more, $2-3, but still that's like 400% more or something like that, right? 500% more. So the Postal Service is a great deal in our country to send parcels and packages for really low prices run by the government. And one reason is because they don't take a profit. No one's trying to make money off the mail. They're just trying to break even. Stamps are super cheap to send something in the mail. If they needed to make more money, they could just raise the price of stamps, but that would be up to the government to do, right? And we that's what it means for the government to control a business, is that they're the ones who make those choices, including things like cutting back on the amount of days that mail is delivered, or this kind of stuff. Sometimes the government runs a business, and the profits from those businesses goes back to the taxpayer. This is much more common in socialist and communist governments. But the government does other things too. The TVA and the New Deal program during the Great Depression brought electricity to the rural South. Government programs sometimes fund programs that help the people. I believe that our current president is trying to push a infrastructure plan that will bring broadband to the rural South, bring high-speed Wi-Fi or high-speed internet, which should help those people. That's government spending money to do something for the people, acting as a nonprofit. Because they're not making any money off it, but they are providing jobs, of course, and this kind of thing. They talk about FDIC, also a government program to insure your money. You guys, this is really important to understand. Speaking of banks, if you put your money in a U.S. bank, our government insures it up to $250,000. It used to be 100,000, and then after the Great Recession, Obama raised it to 250. And what that means is that if the bank fails, like Great Depression days, or like 2008, where, which one was it? Lehman Marcus failed? It's a big bank. One of the big four banks failed in 2008. And people who had their money in that bank would have lost it were it not for the FDIC. insurance on your first 100,000 in the bank. But now listen, if you had over 100,000 in the bank, you lost every penny after 100,000. If you had Lehman Marcus, now that number will be 250,000. That's why if you know rich people, they don't usually have one bank account with all their money. They spread it out, lots of different accounts, so you can have that FDIC coverage. Maybe we have some invested here, or we have some in whatever mutual funds or bonds or stocks or retirement plans or whatever. Because you don't want to have 10 million bucks in the bank, because if that bank fails, you only get 100,000 back or 250,000 now. But that's that's better than nothing. And for the average person who has 10 million bucks, I don't know anyone who has 10 million. Well, actually, I do know one person who has $10 million. I don't know that person well, but my cousin married into his family, and he's got a lot of money. So anyways, government sometimes does act as a nonprofit. We have UPS, we have like the TVA kind of programs, government programs. We also know that the FDIC is a way that the government can insure people's money, which is also it's a government program to help the people. Government also has antitrust laws to make sure that one company doesn't do everything, have a monopoly, and control all aspects of a certain industry. Some people think that like some of the social media companies or Google, some internet stuff should be broken up. I don't know. Government does also Pell Grants, and they do college scholarships to try and help young people, usually low-income people, go to college, because college is so expensive, and they try and create what's called a level playing field. So like all young people have close to an equal opportunity. I mean, we all know it's not fully equal, but it's at least closer. If very low income people have a chance to go to college, that would help them in life. And then also we know that the government does Social Security payments. They do Medicare and Medicaid. There's a bunch of government programs out there that are meant to help people.